Suffering happens when people not only lose function, but when they lose who they believe themselves to be. Welcome to the Foster Your Voice podcast with me, Kristi Foster. After a 30-year career in music and theater, I never imagined I'd be coaching trial attorneys. But once I entered your world, I quickly realized how critical and underutilized voice is in the courtroom. The truth is, you don't win trials with brute strength. You win with your voice. I'll give you tools to unlock your voice so you can communicate not just with purpose, but on purpose. If you want quick action tips to help you stay calm and in control, keep jurors engaged, and inspire your listeners to action, all through the power of your voice, you're in the right place. I'm Kristi Foster, and I'm here to help you foster your voice. Hello, Foster fam. Welcome back to the Foster Your Voice podcast. Summer is just clipping right along, and we're fast approaching the 4th of July. June is wrapping up this week, and so is our Familiar Anchors series. For the last 3 weeks, and then today, we've been looking at 4 key umbrella topics or buckets that provide an easy anchor for jurors to connect with. They help you create easy-to-use examples, metaphors, or analogies that you can pull from to build your openings. And they help you decide on your key principles of your case that will create moments of resonance. They'll stick in the jurors' minds and connect them emotionally to your client and your case. Now, in week 1, which was episode 73, we talked about health. This anchor is an umbrella topic that connects folks to concepts around survival, safety, body completeness, vitality, and having or maintaining physical independence. In episode 74, we looked at the anchor of wealth and how it anchors into discussions about fairness, loss, value, future security, and livelihood. Last week, in episode 75, is where we did a deeper analysis around family, how it's a powerful anchor because humans are profoundly relational creatures, and it taps into feelings around belonging, protection, legacy, and so much more. That leaves us with today's anchor of identity, and how fitting as we near the end of Pride Month, celebrating identity in all its forms. So, for purposes of this discussion, identity relates to not just gender and personality traits, but the deeper issues: dignity, purpose, autonomy, self-image, your role in the world, personal meaning, and potential for impact and societal contribution. Those are the things that are wrapped up in identity. And these are universal human connection points, which makes this anchor something that jurors can understand and quickly connect to. Suffering happens when people not only lose function, but when they lose who they believe themselves to be. Your case needs to prompt jurors to unconsciously ask, who was this person before? Who are they now? What was taken? And how did this change their place in the world? For example, instead of saying she could no longer work as a nurse, which simply mentions a profession, a deeper connection option is, for 22 years, people came to her for care. After the injury, she became the person needing help to button her own shirt. Did you hear the identity inversion? She identifies as a caretaker, and now she is the one that needs care. Instead of keeping things surfacey, let the jury anchor into these themes of dignity, purpose, self-worth, how others see us versus how we see ourselves. So let me give you just a few more examples. She didn't just lose mobility. She lost the part of her that danced. When a man builds his identity on being a provider and then that gets taken, it shakes the foundation of who he believes he is. It's like wearing clothes that don't fit anymore. The outer world sees you one way, but inside everything's changed. He wasn't just a worker. He was the guy everyone called to fix things. And now he can't even fix his own grip. These 4 familiar anchors that we've been talking about, health, wealth, family, and identity, answer the questions that are on jurors' minds. Why should I care? Why does this matter? What is the human significance of this? How did this violate our values? They work like a bridge between the juror's world and the case world. And again, using these familiar anchors is not emotional manipulation as long as it's truthful and the evidence supports it. You're not trying to manufacture emotion. You're simply helping jurors understand real life, real human consequences. Jurors can't assign value and deliberate damages when they can't meaningfully interpret the result of the negligence. So, as you prep your case, keep asking, which familiar anchor does this connect to? And there might be several. So take the time to answer the question so you can communicate human stakes, not just facts. You know what I hate? Being misunderstood. It's actually one of my biggest fears, if I'm honest, right up there with birds. Yes, I'm afraid of birds. Leave me alone about it already. Being misunderstood is just the worst, though. Trying to communicate something and seeing that it's just not landing the way you intend. Too harsh of tone with your kid or spouse that ended up setting them off. A thinking face that got interpreted as annoyance or irritation and ended up shutting down the conversation and leaving you baffled. It's so frustrating in our personal lives, but in the courtroom, your mismatched communication profile could break your case and lose you a deserving verdict. So, I've created a free guide to get you thinking about the emotional profiles you create. It's a printable guide to help you 10x your communication impact by mastering 6 emotional profiles for clear and authentic connection. I break down the 6 core emotions: happy, sad, love, pride, anger, and fear by giving you face, body, and breathing cues. Plus, I show you exactly which point on a 1 to 10 scale you should be with your pitch, pace, melody, volume, and tone in order to authentically capture the center of that core emotion. The link to get your free guide is in the show notes or by simply going to my website, fostervoicestudio.com. Don't wait to clear up your part of miscommunication and misunderstandings. Get your free download today. A few weeks ago, we talked about congruency, making sure that you've created an emotional profile that doesn't create cognitive dissonance. Remember, that's when you align your face, your voice, your body, and your breath to accurately represent the emotion you intend. And in an effort to create more clarity and reduce confusion, you need to look and sound like what you mean. And you know how this works. We all do. We all have had communication mishaps with our friends or your spouse or your kids. When we are mismatched, that's when miscommunication happens. And you've probably had to say, okay, that didn't come out the way I meant, or some variation of that. Now, I think one of the biggest culprits of a mismatched emotional profile is tone. I mean, tone of voice is a huge trigger. And also, it's so nuanced. It's hard to get it right 100% of the time. If you're a social media user, have you seen the new trend going around where they have the same sentence where they say it in different ways? There's this funny married couple that I follow. I think their handle is at Full M House. And they did a reel the other day where they had to say, good for you, with different styles, different intentions. So supportive, hateful, flirty, and sarcastic. I'll put the link in the show notes because it was a good laugh. Anyway, what's interesting to me is that even with setting an intention and knowing their assignment, they don't totally capture the four styles. It's hard. It takes practice. It requires objective review and feedback to dial it in and make sure you can really communicate what you intend. The truth is, jurors believe tone before they believe language. In fact, you're probably familiar with Minions, right? The animated movie. They don't say a single distinguishable word, and yet we get what they mean, right? Tone. That's all tone. You can let your tone do the heavy lifting. Let it do the work to carry your emotional intent. The more you can build tone that's congruent with your complete emotional profile, the quicker you build trust. I've put the link to my free emotional profiles guide in the show notes. Please pick it up and let me know how I can help you get your message aligned. Until next time, keep fostering your voice. Thanks for pulling up a seat with me today and for being part of the Foster fam. Make sure you're subscribed to the podcast so you don't miss a single episode. And while you're at it, go ahead and leave a review or a comment so I can give you a shout out on a future episode. During the week, you can find me on Instagram at Foster Voice Studio, where I'm dropping little nuggets of vocal technique and leadership wisdom. You can also join my mailing list by visiting fostervoicestudio.com or by clicking the link in the show notes. I'll send a weekly vocal tip every Tuesday directly to your inbox. Until then, keep fostering your voice.